Hello everyone, welcome to my vlog. This is a vlog that will be showing you the new build of my new bicycle. Just to give you a little preamble, this is a bicycle that I've been wanting to build for a number of years whilst I've been riding my current B-Twin Trabant T5A, the black as it is known. The B-Twin is equipped with a 9-speed Sora 3503 model number, and it's been a good bike, don't get me wrong. It started me off nicely, but for quite some time now I've been wanting to build something with a better frame, and since a decent bike with good frames and good components are very expensive, I've decided to embark on a search for frame components as they become available at a very good price. I've been grabbing them, so it has taken quite a while to accumulate all these parts that are necessary for the build. However, in the meantime, I have been upgrading my B-Twin, and there are components on my B-Twin at the moment that will then be transferred to the new build. So the accumulation of all these components, as I said, it's been over a period of time, and careful sourcing has obviously just been dragging on, but I'm there finally. I've also settled on the 105 group set, 11 speed, and to be precise, the 5800 model. Now, yeah, there are Ultegras and Dura Aces, and even the new 105R 7000 is better. However, I feel for price, value for money, for what you're getting, this is fine. This is not the lightest. I'm obviously not intending to race. I cycle for fun, whilst at the same time I like a little bit of just that little bit smoother change and a bigger offer of ratios, particularly for climbing. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you, I've laid out all the components on a table, and I'm going to show you everything that I've accumulated and the reasons why in this video, with the continuation of the build in a second episode of my vlogs. So if you'd like to continue to follow my progress, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and click on the notification icon, as that will inform you immediately I upload another video with further progress on this build. So without further ado, let me show you the components. Okay, so here we have an overhead shot of all the components that I'll be using for the build. I will be going through all these components on an individual basis with a brief description as to why I chose them, and to see a more close-up of what they look like. Here we have the front wheel, and as you can see, these are Fulcrum Racing Quattros, 35mm, equipped with Continental Grand Prix 4000 S2s. And I'm also running tubes. I'm running Michelin A1 lightweight. These tubes are 75 grams. I have been running these wheels and tires and tube combination for quite some time on my B-Twin, and I found them to be excellent. I think going to tubeless would probably have an advantage, but at this point in time I'm very happy with my combination. I'm also running 23mm tires, as I have been for quite a while, although when measured these tires ballooned out to 26.5, so I found them to be okay. Not necessarily ideal, but I found them to be okay. Over here we have the rear wheel, exactly the same tires and tubes, exactly the same wheel, Shimano free hub for 11 speed, which we'll come to a little more in detail as I continue with the build. You've seen the overview of all the components laid out on the table, and so what we will do quickly, we'll go through some of the individual components and some of the characteristics regarding these components and what I am doing in some cases to modify to suit my application. For instance, we have the cassette. This is the 1134 cassette, which, although marked as for road application, this is actually a mountain bike cassette. and you do not get an 1134 road cassette made by Shimano. They've gone with a mountain bike cassette. So when you buy a brand new cassette like this, it will come with a spacer. These cassettes are designed to fit into a 10-speed hub, and if you've got an 11-speed hub like I have, you will find that these cassettes will be loose once tightened up. Therefore, it needs the spacer to make it fit onto a road hub. If you've got a mountain bike hub, even a 10-speed hub, they will fit fine without the need for any spacers. In my case, what I've done is I am in the process, well, I have done all the work already, which I'll show you, of changing my gear ratios. So, this comes with an 11, first sprocket, 11, 13, 15. So, and this is the lock ring that came with this cassette. I am going to instead start off with my 13, but as you can see, the 13 does not have the serrations, and this is not the first sprocket that you would find on a cassette that starts with the 13. However, as I said at the beginning of this video, this has been done on a budget, and so I've taken it up as a challenge to come up with ideas that would be workable and improve where I can. So what I've done is I'm going 13. I've now ordered a 14 to go between that 13 and this 15 here. So you will need a spacer. So I've gone through my stock of spacers that I've accumulated over the years from other cassettes, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, but as you possibly can tell, I have machined this down to the correct thickness of 2.3 millimeter, which is the spacing between sprockets for an 11-speed cassette application, be it mountain bike or road. So that will take care of that. So on top of that will be the 14 socket, which unfortunately hasn't arrived yet, and then on top of the 14 socket will be the 13. Now the 13 has a 1.6 millimeter edge onto it already, so there's no need for spacer between the 13 and 14. The idea behind it is to keep 13, 14, 15 as your ratios for going as fast as you can, and remembering that I can no longer deliver the power that I did many years ago, and so I think that will be a far better friendly ratios for my ability. Now, you'd be possibly interested in knowing how to secure this. How am I going to secure this? So what I've done is I then took a mesh lock ring. I've machined it. As you can see, the shiny part, I've machined it so that it fits exactly inside there. Now there's a few reasons for that. As you can see, it's quite a neat fit. One of the reasons is to keep the overall width of the cassette as narrow as possible, so that it clears at the back of it the spokes, and in the front the frame set, so that the chain doesn't have any chance of fouling against one or the other. Now, I did say that this cassette is from a mountain bike, designed for mountain bike, and when you buy them brand new, you do get a spacer. However, in my case, because of the modification in the front, I've had to calculate the spacer for the rear, and what I've come up with, as you can see, as soon as my camera decides to focus, as you can see, I have machined slots. So what happens with these slots is they fit perfectly, right? So the overall width thickness of the spacer is 2.3 mil, and then it has a step of 0.8, and then it has a 1.5 millimeter thick. Now this has been carefully calculated so that once the cassette is installed, which I will show you as we go through the build, and everything is tightened up, It'll be a perfect fit without the lock ring hitting the free up. Right, so I'll quickly show you. There we go. I think you can see that better now. Once you slide that over. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed and holding my phone with the other hand. You will see that the hub has those recesses, and this, the way that I've designed it and machined it using a simple pedestal drill with the router bit mounted onto it, I was able to do all this very, very accurately. So that fits in there. So when your sprocket hits up against there, you've got support both against the small bit and the back. So the whole thing is supported against the hub. Because remember, you need to have a reasonable amount of surface area for the whole thing to be clamped on. The other advantage behind this mesh lock ring is that it can be tightened to 45 Newton meters, as you can see there, as opposed to 40 Newton meters as suggested by Shimano. There we go. There's a 40. Oops, the lighting is poor. Apologize for that. I will try in the future be more conscientious about that. There we go, 14 Newton meters. So therefore we are going to get a better grip on the whole cassette once installed. And basically, although the 14 sprocket is missing at the moment, but basically that's what it'll look like. I think it looks rather neat. It'll be well finished. That goes in there. It'll be well finished, and it really looks neat. There's no danger of the nut coming off, the lock ring coming off, because the sprocket gets locked into the onto the hub, and then once you tighten it up, so nothing should turn. It should be really, really good. The chain is a 105 chain. Now both these items I purchased on eBay. Someone else that I think they rebuilt or they upgraded their bike. I'm not quite sure what they've done. So there was no ring with this one in the first place. However, it wouldn't have mattered because I had to manufacture my own ring with my own sizes to suit my alterations, modifications, whatever you want to call it. The chain unfortunately also didn't come with the quick link that they normally do come with, although the chain is brand new. But because I got them both for such a good price, I then purchased my own quick link, SRAM quick link, which is reusable. I have got a second spare one as well. So we'll cover this in more detail when I go through the assembly process. We'll just go through the rest of the components. This is my seat post, which is a stylus, a 3T stylus. It served me well. It's full carbon fiber, and I have here a Bontrager race saddle. Now, it took me a long time to find a saddle that that suited me. That I could do long rides with without experiencing a lot of discomfort. And that saddle may not necessarily be the lightest, and it isn't, I'm sure, but it's really, really comfortable. Combined with that seat post, which, by the way, that's a 27.2 mil, and this frame is also a 27.2 mil. Therefore, no need for spacers like I had on my B-Twin. Now, these water bottle cages are still the ones that I've taken out of my B-Twin. These are the Elite Custom Race. Come on, phone, please zoom. And these bottle cages have been extremely reliable. I find them, they're not necessarily the lightest, again, when you compare them to carbon fiber, but I have found them very reliable, easy to get your bottles in and out, and holds them very, very securely. At the back here, we have my brake calipers. Now, these brake calipers, again, I had already converted. I'm trying to see that we can zoom in to the model. This will be, there we go. These are the Shimano 5700. Now, these brake calipers, I have them running on my B-twin with the Sora 3503 shifters, and they work very well. They improve the braking on my B-twin tremendously. So, as I've said, I'm tight. This is a tight budget build. I'm using them. Although my shifters over here, the 105s, these are the 5800. These are the 5800 shifters. They're brand new, by the way. I got them for a real cheap price. But again, it's the old story. It's been quite a hunt. They're brand new, they feel good. They are 11 speed, as I said. And yes, these brake calipers, although they are used, they've been on my B-twin for approximately 6 years. They are like new. They're really like new. Yes, I do ride my bike, but I do look after them as well. Right, so let's move on to the rear derailleur. Again, I've had this. This is also brand new 105 5800 derailleur. I've had it for about I think I bought this derailleur about 2 years ago when I started thinking about this project, and I thought, let me start building up my all my components. When I bought this, 5800 was great, but then the 7000 came out. I picked this up for a good price, bought it, kept it, and hopefully it'll be used very soon. My front derailleur, this is an Ultegra, also brand new. This came off a bike that the owner converted from standard Ultegra to Di2. So I picked this up very cheaply, although brand new as well. So that's great. And this Ultegra, this is the Ultegra 6800, which will work very well with the 5800 shifters. Moving along, these are the pedals that I had on my B-twin, also 105 5800s, but these are carbon. These are carbon fiber. Again, these pedals have been on that bike for, I think, it's about 5 years. Yeah, at least 5 years, and they still so smooth. They're still really nice, and yeah, they're showing some signs of wear, but I'm very happy with them. We move over onto the chain set. On the chain set, I was in two minds whether to go with the new 7000, which does look a little nicer, but I picked this one up. This is the 5800. I picked this one up for a very good price, half the price, although brand new, half of the price of a new one. So even 105. So I thought, well, why not? Let's stay with the 105 5800. It's good, reliable, slightly heavier, but not that much. So that is the chain set. The specs on the chain set, they are 5034 with 170 millimeter crank arms. Now we move on. This drop bar, I purchased together with the frame. This is a Bontrager aluminium bar, which is great. Really is great. Now, possibly the bit you've all been waiting for, this frame. This is the Shimano, the Trek ALR, came off an ALR 6 bike. It's got beautiful wheels. It weighs just about nothing. Well, not nothing, but it weighs just over 1 kilogram bare. It's built with the Specialist 300 Come on, camera, please focus. It's built with a specialist 300 alpha aluminium. There you go. And it really, it's UCI approved. Not that it really matters to me. It's got the braze-on bracket for the front derailleur, and really external cables. This is the model. This is a 2016 model with the 1.5 inch bottom stereo bearing and 1 1/8 on the top. So that is really, really nice. I'm looking forward to, so I'm just trying to put this down gently. I'm looking forward to riding it, to be honest, and do compare notes with my B-twin. Now the fork, this is a full carbon fiber fork, and really, really light. The total weight, oopsie, that's not nice. The total weight of this fork comes in at 375 grams. Now that is exceptionally light. The fork on my B-twin, although not too bad, with an aluminium stereo, but also carbon, but that was at 500. It nearly 600 grams. Substantial difference. Can I feel it? I don't know. We'll see. I do feel that all the gains made and the design of the frame is going to contribute towards a better ride. This frame already came with the bottom bracket, which is the it's a BB71-41. I'll see if I can try and hopefully, the lighting is really poor and I apologize for that. Since I'm new at this, obviously I'm going through a learning curve. Our phone 2 does not want to focus as quickly as I'd hope it would. Anyway, moving on. This stem, this is an 80mm stem, as I am a relatively short guy, and I'm using a frame that is a little bigger for me. This is a 54cm frame, and I should be running between about a 52. However, I find that the slightly bigger frame offers me the potential for a more comfortable position where you don't have to be bending down a lot. So my B-twin was 54. I felt very comfortable with that, and so I've decided to try and source. Although this is a used frame, I was very fortunate in being able to source this size, which is exactly what I wanted. This is a deader stem. It's not the lightest, but it's quite nice, and I think it'll suit the graphics on the bike, and it's a nice length for me. So we'll see. Obviously, only once you start riding will you be able to see whether it works well on this bike. It certainly worked well on the other bike. We have here my cadence sensor, my trusty Garmin cadence sensor. I know that they're not everybody's favorite cup of tea, but it's worked well for me. Here we have the new bar tape, Lizard's 3.2mm, and I hope that I'm going to be happy with this tape. I'm looking for the comfort aspect, but I've read and seen some videos on it, and a lot of people are happy, others are not so happy. They claim that it's a bit of a it's difficult to install and not long lasting. However, let's see. I shall try and make it work. These are the shifter and brake cables that came with the shifters when I purchased the shifters. This is my trusty tail light, which a little cat eye, which works extremely well, and that is going to be transferred as well. We have here the cables. We have here the shifter cables after the obviously the 4mm, and the brake cables, which are the 5mm. As I'm sure you are aware, your brake cables are thicker than your shifter cables. Therefore, they require a big inner size. The reason for me having purchased 2 brake cables by 1 meter is because I got this stuff from Weagle, and Weagle, I can't believe it. You buy 2 by 1 meter, which for brake cables is more than long enough to be able to cut the size for a lot cheaper than you can buy 2 meters in one roll. It just doesn't make sense. Obviously, if I was running internal cabling on my frame, then I would have had to rethink my situation, but it's not the case. So therefore, this is perfect for me. Yeah, we have the bearing sets. This is the bottom bearing, top bearing, the clamp. These are the risers that I had on my B-twin, which probably I'll be using it on this bike. However, next to it, I have the standard FSA collar that came with the frame. The guy that I bought the frame from, he was really, really good. And he looked after it, he packed it beautifully. You'd never say this is a used frame. And he posted it all down nice to me. Down to me, really, really well packed. We have the top steerer clamp. Believe it or not, I haven't quite made up my mind whether to go with this Ritchie. It has a little bit of flair, I suppose, or whether to go with the original. Believe it or not, the original is 11 grams, and the Ritchie one is 17 grams. 6 grams difference. Wow. Anyway, so there are a couple of things missing. As I said, I haven't received the ends. The cable ends are coming. The adjuster, I'm going to fit the adjuster for the front derailleur on over there, and I will do one for the rear derailleur so that it looks isometric, so that the whole thing looks, and it's a beautiful adjuster that fits in there, and you can adjust it on the move. Really, really nice. I've got the cable crimps, and obviously the 14 tooth sprocket that's still coming. So this is the these are all the components that I will be using on my build. And so what I want to do is, the next video will be the beginning of the assembly. And if you would like to continue watching my videos, as I've said before, subscribe, click on the notification icon, and then as soon as I upload it, you'll be informed. You can then continue to follow. In the meantime, if you've got any comments, suggestions, and as I said, I apologize for the quality of the lighting. I shall try and do something about it next time, and possibly even do it outside if the weather's fine. I do have a bicycle stand which I will be mounting the bike on as I do all the assembly, but that's for another video. So for now, thank you for watching, and yes, as I've said, any comments, negative or positive, as long as they are constructive, they're all welcome, down below, and talk to you soon. Bye.